My name is Aleksei Ivanov. I came from the Syktyvkar Komi Republic. Um, I speak Komi language. I am Komi by myself. My ethnicity is Komi. I was born in the town called Kulamdin in Komi. Kind of small town if you say in Russian sizes, but there was like 5,000 people. Komi is my native language. When I grew up, I was speaking only in Komi till the school ages, like for my first 6 years of my life. And I speak it with my parents, with my friends. So I tried to speak in Komi Republic everywhere, but it doesn't work. I speak Russian. I learned English in like after school times. Yeah, today I speak Udmurt a little bit, but it's enough to communicate with Udmurts. Also, I tried to learn Finnish, Estonian. I know some basics, no, but I can't speak it. First time I was arrested at the 2000, 2018, the winter, I think, or it was in March. So I was spreading the leaflets about Navalny's company, presidential company, and some policemen came to me and um, asked me what I am doing. I answered him in Komi, but he didn't understand anything. I did nothing illegal. I was just spreading like good political leaflets, and he didn't understand because I answered in Komi. So he called his other guy, how it calls, like his other policeman, yeah, and asked him if he understand me. The other guy also didn't understand me, and they took me to the police. So yeah, and they in the police office they found someone who was speaking Komi. He tried to translate everything. They were asking my name all the time. I didn't tell it because I have right to not sell, like it's 51st article of Russian constitution. You can like not tell anything to the policeman. So they talked to me like for 3 hours, I think, maybe 4. I was speaking to them always in Komi, but they just wanted to know my name. I didn't tell them, and they decide to start to do something. They asked to get all my stuff from my pockets, and I said I will not do it before you not call my defender, like not advocate, but some also jurist. Yeah, he was waiting outside of this room where I was. They said no, like take all the things from your pocket. I said no because you don't let me to talk my lawyer. Yeah, and after that they just took my hand and put me on my back and tried to put me to the floor. Like two people or 3 were trying to do this. So they did it. They put me to the jail for nothing. There was no reason for it. And after that, in the jail, not in the jail, in the protocol, they said like I was trying to fight them. I was swearing to them all the time, and then they didn't like specify in which language. They just said that I was fighting them. And there is a video where they showed in the jail where I was just standing and talking to them, and it was like proof that I was fighting to them. It's so funny, but judge didn't care about it. They put me to the jail for 2 days that time for no reason. Just I don't know. Maybe it was for my speaking in Komi. I don't know what was the real reason for it. But they say that I was fighting and swearing to them. My second arrest was in 2021 after Navalny arrived in Russia back from Germany, where he was like healing after poisoned. Yeah, when he arrived in January, we had a few rallies in Syktyvkar, in all over the country, but it also was in Syktyvkar, and I was participating in the rallies. And after 2 weeks after first rally, police came to my office at work. They was just calling me to come to them right now, in the middle of the day when I was working. Yeah, I said I will not go because you just write the paper. I will come by myself. They said no, otherwise we will arrest you if you will not go with us. So I had to go with them. In police office, they asked me to sign some papers. I didn't answer anything. I didn't care about this stuff because it's so stupid to get some problems because of participating in rallies. So they asked me to sign some papers. I said, no, if you will translate the papers in Komi, I will sign it. There's no problems. They asked me really hard that time to sign something. I don't know why they need my signs, my names. So I didn't sign it, just let me go. And I think 3 days after, they called me to the court. And in the court, I decide also to speak in Komi. And I record this speech. So then the judge started to yell at me because I was speaking in Komi and she didn't understand anything. So she yelled at me. I record it, and after the publishing it, it's like spread really widely. I didn't expect it, so it was like really loud thing that I did. I just showed that Russian government doesn't care about the people that live in Russia. Even if there is some laws that say that you have to speak with the person in state language that he asks to speak, but they don't do it.
Was that also the problem with the Ruski Rossiyski thing?
Yes. The judge there was asking me why I speak Komi when my passport is like Ruski. That means ethnically Russian, but it's incorrect. It's like Rossiyski, of the passport of Russian Federation, of citizen of Russian Federation. She doesn't understand that there is a difference between Ruski and Rossiyski. Uh, so yeah, and she also was asking why I have like a Russian name. Yeah, but it's in reality it's not Russian. It's like Orthodox name, but Russified. But in my at my home, my parents called me Aleksei. That it's like in Komi style, not style. So it's Komi name, but I can't get the documents with this name because there is like a letter and they don't have it in Russian, so I can't. I have no choice to have non-Russian name. So it's a stupid question that she was asking. I don't know.
What was the result of that trial?
A result was after first court, she decided to like call me later when she get the translator to her. But I was saying I don't need a translator because I understand you. It's you don't understand me, and you cannot call the translator to me because I don't need the translator. So she decided like call me later and get the translator to her. But law in Komi said that people who work in the government have to speak like both state languages, Russian and Komi, both. But she didn't speak, so there was no other way to her to do anything else worth thinking what to do. She got a translator, and there was a card. The translator, she also was from police, and she didn't really speak like pure Komi language, like not without Russian loans. But I was speaking with no Russian loans. I wrote all my papers with no Russian loans. So she didn't understand it, and she started to cry when judge went somewhere. I don't know, there was some time where we were like one-to-one with each other, and she started to cry and said like, why do you speak this like in this way? I can't translate it. And she started to cry and blaming me for me to speak in like pure Komi. That was also some stupid thing. So the result of the court was like I get a fine of 16,000 rubles.
Is that a lot of money?
For Russian Federation, it is not small an amount of money. It's like half of salary of my salary. My third deal with the government was in this year at the 24th February. Russia decided to start a real war in the center of Europe with Ukraine, and I didn't expect anything like that. I didn't believe that it's possible to start the war in current times, because um, in Russia, in schools, we were people, teachers always were saying like, do anything, but um, war is most like scary thing that can happen to people. So I don't understand how people today like don't care about the war things. But anyway, at the 24th February, after Russia decided to start the war, in the evening, uh, we were like, we decided to meet in the our main square at the center of Syktyvkar to protest this stupid thing that Russia decided to do. And there was like some policemen. They was like looking to us like we are some, I don't know, like animals. I don't know how to say. And I asked them, are they not ashamed to be a part of this government, this country that decided to start the war, even if our like grandparents are fighting against this kind of people that just came to our land. So I asked them, and they said, we don't care. Like nothing is happening now. So I called them like fascists. I explained why they are fascists if they like support this kind of stuff, because Russia is like fits all the criteria of fascism. And the last thing was to start the war, and so they started the war, so they are true fascists. I explained them it in Komi, and one policeman was speak Komi language and he understand everything, and other guy just didn't understand anything. He just was asking me to tell me my name again. I don't know why they need my name that much. And I said like I have a right not to say it because the 51st article of Constitution. And they said otherwise we will arrest you. I said okay, just take my hands, here my hands, like arrest me. He asked me again a few times like to tell my name or they will arrest me. I said I don't care, I will wait here like with my friends. I will wait for your car. Like, if you want to arrest me, and I started to move to the people, to crowd, and they just put me, like, take me by my hands, and bring me to the place where was no people in the square, and they called for police car, and we were waiting there, and many journalists came to me and they were filming, and some journalist asked me to say my name. I said I can't tell because there is like fascists are holding me. So yeah, and the police car like came. They put me to the car, uh, and in the office they just put me in the jail right away, like right when we came there. So and after police office, they drove me to the isolator And they put me. I was there for 2 days, and when was time coming when they have to let me go, in the evening, they decide to make a court, the process, and nobody knows. I had my lawyer, and one lawyer called the court, like when will be the process. They said, we will release Alexei, and the court will be later. We will call him. But in reality, they just in the late evening they make this process. So, and in the court, we were watching a video where I was just calmly speaking with policemen, and I was explaining why they are fascists, and judge didn't care. Like, she watched it, she see that I did nothing wrong, and in the protocol police write that I was trying to run from them, but I didn't. You see that I didn't. I was just speaking to them. There's nothing illegal in it. So that she didn't care. She put me to the jail for 5 days. It was my record to be in jail for 5 days.
Then they released you, and
Yeah, they released me, and after a month, some lady called me and said that she is from the investigation office, let's say. I don't know how it's correctly in English. And she said, we need to meet with you and talk about the things were happening at 24th February. I said, you can come to me if you want. I said the address, and she said, I will come. Okay. And after that, I asked my lawyer, and he said that it's better to go there, to their office, and we went there. And the lady just asked, did I call the policemen like fascists, and what else? I said, like, I have rights not to say, like 51st article of Constitution. Yeah. And she asked some questions. I said I will not answer, and she just released me. And after another month, my lawyer called me and said like that we need to go to the office again to talk the investigator. Yeah, and there she showed me like the paper. There it was saying like they are charging the criminal case against me for insulting police officers, and they didn't specify how did I insult them. They were just saying that I insulted in some words. That's it. So and when I was looking at it, I was reading this, I seen that it's possible to like change the article from insult to like extremist thing, that they just really like this article. So it was like possibility, and that they will change the article on it because they didn't specify what did I wrong. They were saying that there was some insults, and they can say that I was insulting them because they are Russians. So there was possibility to get like more scary article on me. So I decided to leave. I contacted the Oliver Lode, director, I think, of the Uralic Keskus. He helped me to get first to the Turkey. He had some Crimean Tatars friends there, and they gave me like place to live. So I was in Turkey for 3 weeks. I was making Estonian visa. So after I made Estonian visa, I just came here.
yes. And on which day did you arrive?
14th May.
Is there any reason why you ended up here in Tartu?
Because I have like many connections here. I was in Estonia 3 years ago, and I have some friends here, and I am like activist of some finno-ugric movements, and I had friends, and they just gave me the place where I can live, so that's why I am in Tartu.
How much do you know about Estonians' reaction to the war?
I know that they support Ukraine, and it's no other way to do in this situation, do any other thing than support Ukraine. So
Do you feel good in Estonia?
oh, I feel really good. I have many friends. The people here are very nice. I feel like home. I don't know. Even in Syktyvkar, I didn't feel like home because people was like different. They was not my type of people, but Estonians are really. I feel like home. I don't know how to say.
Does it feel like familiar, like the landscape or the culture or like the way people live?
I live in Tartu, and it's so different from cities in Russia. So it's something really special to me because the city is very, very nice. I don't know.
So it doesn't really feel.
It doesn't really feel like
familiar.
familiar. It feels like it how it have to be at my home, but yeah.
How do you think the war has affected the Komi community?
Um, Good people are against this war, but like educated people against this war, but they can't say anything against it because they have like families, they have work, they are afraid that they will lose something and get some problems with it. But there is many people, like regular people, that they can like not care about things like this, but there is some people that really support this thing, and it's because they are under like big propaganda thing. So people who don't watch TV, like regular commies, for for example, my parents, they don't watch TV like for more than 10 years, I think. So they are not under propaganda, and they understand that war is some worst thing that can happen ever, and it's not good that Russia started, or they understand it. Like regular people with no propaganda influence, they understand it clearly. I think majority they're the people who don't care about anything except their life. In the villages, for example, they don't care about anything because they don't have enough money for just good to live just in good way, so they don't care about this kind of stuff. And there is so more people don't care at all. If you say them about some politics, they are not really interested, they are bored at this time, or is not touching them, so they don't care about it. But also there is two minorities, people like smart people, educated people that don't support this thing, and I don't know how to say, like bad people under propaganda, like under huge influence of propaganda, they really support.
So they actively support.
Yes, actively. And there is some people, like I don't know how to say, people who work in for the government, they say like we have to support because it's our government and we work to them, so we are putting that like half of swastika, that Z sign everywhere. So yeah.
How do you think the Komi community sees you?
There is like many people that support me, but also there are people that don't understand, that people don't believe that I can uh, do some activist stuff for free, for, without some um, influence from outside. So, but most people support me if they know about me.
Do you think there is like any hope for Russia to be within itself?
There is a hope if Putin just die and change just start after that. I'm sure. Like we need just change Putin. But my dream is that Russia will fall apart and we will become independent. That's my dream, because many people in Komi, even Russians, support the independence ideas, because we have many resources there. Like, we live on the oil, on the gas, and we don't get it at all. For example, in Komi, there gas, like heating gas, only in the like big cities where just Russians live there. And in the villages, we don't have it. But even if we live on this, so we don't see that this many uh, our richness, everything. Like, we are just colony of Moscow. That's
So you feel exploited.
yes, very much so. And Russians in Komi also feel it. So it's not fair.
Would you want to go back to Komi if the political situation changed?
Yes, I hope so. I have connections to. I will have connections for a long time. I will try to do something from here, and if I will be needed there, I will go back for sure.
Okay, so you're not like fled and you
No,
just not looking back, whatever.
I am not a traitor.
Okay.
I just had to leave. I didn't want to leave when the case was charged, but I just started to see that people around don't care or support this thing, and people who don't support, they can't be loud and they can't tell their opinion on it. So when you are in Russia, you see only people around that don't care or support the war, because it's like really big pressing on other kind of people, other opinions. There is so many people died on the war from Komi. So there is some, I don't know how much of them, but my classmate died in the war. Also my some guy that I knew him when he was really uh, little, like boy, and he also um, the rockets hit their group. He survived, but he decided to leave like immediately this war, because he didn't want to fight to other people. So
And
yeah,
could he live?
yes,
Okay, so he wasn't like shot by
yes.
his own army, he was able to leave the army.
They were protesting with their group that they don't want to fight anymore.
Is there anything else you would really like to say or like add to your story or anything to this?
I wanna thank to Estonian government and Oliver Lode especially for the helping to me, like, escape the Russian Federation. So very big thanks to them.